Hello everyone, in this video let's see a C program to compare two strings without using string compare function. Have you ever wondered how the website checks the password match when you sign up? Or how the software detects if there is any plagiarism? Or how the spam filtering in your mail works? And there's one solution to all these things is string comparison. So comparing two strings in C is finding out if they are same or not. This is done by using some built-in functions or comparing the strings character by character to determine if they are equal. In case they are not equal, we can also analyze and find out which string is lexicographically larger than the other by using various methods of string comparison in C. The lexicographic order means the dictionary order. That is, the words which start from A come before the words that start with B, and the earlier is lexicographically smaller than the later. Now coming back to string comparison, we have four methods for string comparison in C. Firstly, we can compare the string using the string compare library function. And secondly, we can compare the string without using the string compare function. And third, we can use the pointers to compare the string. And finally, we can compare the string using recursion. The string comparison in C is also possible by using without string compare function. We can compare two strings by traversing each index using a loop or comparing each character one by one. We know that a string is a collection of character data types. In strings, a variable which is declared can store multiple values. In this program, first we will take the elements of string 1 from the user. Then we will take the elements of string 2 from the user. And finally, we will compare the two strings without using any predefined functions. That is, we are going to compare them without using string compare function. And this is the algorithm for the program. First, we will declare the variables for the program. And secondly, we will take the input string 1 from the user. And next up, we will take the input string 2 from the user. Now compare the strings 1 and 2. And then we will print the result. Now let's see the program. In C language, the header files contain set of predefined standard library functions. The hash include preprocessing directive is used to include the header files with .h extension in the program. So hash include is a way of including a standard or user-defined file in a program, and it is mostly written at the beginning of any C or C++ program. The keyword stdio.h in C is a header file. This header file will import the different variables, macros, and functions to perform the input-output operations. And next, int main. An int is a keyword. It references an integer data type, and we can use the int keyword as a return type of main function. That is, this function will return an integer value. If the return value from the main function is 0, then the program has been executed successfully. So int main represents that the function will return some integer value, even 0, at the end of the program execution. 0 represents the successful execution of a program. The following line is a declaration of character array. So we declare two character arrays, string 1 and string 2. And these arrays can hold a string up to 99 characters. Next, int I. Int is short for integer. It is a fundamental variable type built into the compiler. It is used to define numerical variables holding the whole numbers. And this variable is used to control the for loop. Next, the function printf. It is a function to print a string in C program. It is one of the main C output function. It stands for print formatted. The printf functions create and output strings formatted at runtime, and they are the part of the standard C library. So this line of code will print, please enter the first string. Next, gets. It is a predefined function in C, which is used to read the string, and it will store the input in a well-defined string variable. This function will terminate when it encounters a new line character. And here is where we are going to take the input string 1 from the user. Here the gets function doesn't perform any array bound checking. It will just keep reading the character until the enter is encountered. And similarly, here is where we are going to take the input string 2 from the user. Now we are going to compare the strings without using the string compare. The for loop in C language is used to iterate the statements or part of the program several times, and it is frequently used to traverse the data structures like array and linked list. And here is where we are going to check the length of string 1 and string 2. The word for is a keyword. The for loop has three statements. The statement 1 sets a variable before the loop starts. That is, statement 1 is executed one time before the execution of code block. And statement 2 defines the condition for the loop to run. If the condition is true, the loop will start over again. If false, the loop will end. So the statement 2 defines the condition for executing the code block. Statement 3 increases a value each time when the code block in the loop has been executed. So the statement 3 is executed every time after the code block has been executed. Let's see the first statement. This I equals 0. I is a variable which is used as a counter for this loop, and it will start counting from 0. Next, the statement 2. It is a condition which keeps the for loop going. Here we are writing string 1 equals string 2, which means we are checking if both the strings are lexicographically equal. That is, the key is both string 1 and string 2 must be valid. This function works by iterating over the characters in the two strings so that it compare one by one. If the characters match, it continues to the next pair of character. So this function traverses both the strings character by character for comparison check, and we are using logical AND operator. There is double ampersand, which indicates both the conditions are true. And the next statement is string 1 equals /0. This condition will check for the end of the array, which means we have to reach the end of the string. So the second statement will check the string 1 and string 2 are equal. So while comparing the string 1 and string 2, we have to check the whole string of the first character array. And /0 is a string terminator, meaning the end of the string, and we will come out of the loop. Next, I++. Here we increment the counter I till the end of the string is reached. Next, we proceed to check if the strings are equal or not. For that, we use if-else statement. We use the if statement to specify a block of code to be executed if a specified condition is true. Next, the else statement, which will specify a block of code to be executed if the same condition is false. And we use else if to specify a new condition to test if first condition is false. First, we're gonna check the user input string 1 is less than string 2. If it is true, it's going to print string 1 is less than string 2. Next, we check the string 1 is greater than string 2. If the statement is true, it is going to print string 2 is less than string 1. And next, we move on to the else condition. When the condition 1 and condition 2 is false, it will print string 1 is equal to string 2. Now let's have a quick review. First, include the necessary header files. Then the main function. It is the entry point of a program. It is user defined and that is mandatory. It always returns an integer value. It is called by the operating system, not by the user. In our program, we write int main, which means our function needs to return some integer value at the end of the execution, and we do that by returning 0 at the end of the program. And 0 is the standard for successful execution of the program. Next, the declaration part, and here is where we initialize the required variables. Here we declare 2 character arrays, and that can hold up to 99 characters. Next, we are declaring I as integer. This variable will hold the integer value that will control the for loop. And next, we take the input from the user. Using get statement, we get the first string and second string. And next, we compare the strings without using the string compare function, and finally printing the output. Now let's run this program. Now I'm giving the first string as ABC and second string as XYZ. It prints the result string 1 is less than string 2. Here we print the result in dictionary order. That is, the word which starts from A comes before the words that start with B. That is, the earlier is lexicographically smaller than the later. And we can check for the other inputs. And that's all for this session. Thank you so much for watching.